Well, hey there, hi there, how you doing? Remy just hit my camera, hold on. What are you doing? What do you want? What do you want? Huh? What? Well, hey there, hi there, how you doing? Hey, welcome to Living High, Wild and Free. My name's Tyler Bryan, and today I'm going to show you the most effective, fastest, awesomest, coolest thingy McJigger method, techniquer way to clean your birds while keeping them legal for transport. So what does that mean? Is we have some form of way to identify the meat, right? So this is just the breast of the goose, and it's got to be connected to that identifier, right? So that's what I mean by legal for transportation. So stay tuned, things are gonna get messy. What you can do is just, you know, pluck the whole bird, and you know, that takes a lot of time and it takes up a lot of freezer space. How do you keep the meat, the breast, on the wing for transportation? Well, I'm going to show you. So what you're going to need is some kind of bird. This snow goose was a bonus bird this morning. Check out the video if you haven't of the Santo crane hunt. I just chose the snow goose because they're typically really easy to clean, so I kind of want to look really professional. So that's why I picked the snow goose. You'll also need a knife. It's a good sharp knife. And some way to clean up. Wet wipes are the best thing ever. You know, I've spent a lot of time in wilderness areas, backcountry camping. I mean, lot of really awesome, cool camping trips. Not bragging, I'm just trying to say that, you know, I'm always looking for different gear, always, you know, thinking, well, what's essential? I don't care how far I have to portage. I don't care how heavy my packs are already. I am bringing wet wipes for sure. It's like, I'm not going into the woods without some wet wipes. I mean, you know, they're great for cleaning up your hands, other areas. So, I mean, if you haven't had a wet wipe shower, you're just missing out. And a baggie. Boom. Bigger the better. Size does matter here. So, to start things off, what I do is I go to about the mid-breast, and I just go and I find the sternum, and I pinch it. I pinch right above the sternum, I pinch the skin. So now, right here, underneath the feathers, I have a skin fold that I have in between my two fingers here. I'm going to take my knife. I'm going to be very careful at this point because it would be very easy to cut yourself or poke yourself with a knife. But being very careful, and I'm going to come in, I just put the blade into the skin. I didn't pierce the meat, just purely pierce the skin, that's it. Set the knife down. You don't need it really until the next step, okay? I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to feel, so I'm taking my thumb and I'm feeling underneath the skin, and I'm putting pressure and I'm pulling the skin away from the breast. I'm opening up the bird. Just like this. I find peeling back the skin like this rather than cutting it is much easier because you don't cut into the meat, and once you cut into the meat, then once you start to tear the, pull and push the skin away, it just brings the meat with it. So if you can, sometimes, like especially with Canada geese, it's very difficult to just pull the skin away from the meat itself. So then you actually need to go in with the knife and cut in like that. Okay, so now we've got the skin pulled away. What I like to do is just take this little extra bit and cut it away like that. So you get a nice chunk there, and you just give her the old toss. And then same with the other side. Just get it out of the way. Just like that. Okay. Then you take your knife, and there's a bone right here. And this bone connects the two muscles right here. And we're gonna take the knife, and I have my knife slightly tilted in towards the bone, and just working my way down the bone as best as I can. So there's a slight pitch to the bone itself. It's very slight, but that's why I'm actually using a pretty decent angle to make sure that the blade's running against the bone. And then same with this side. So there's a bone, and then the actual ribs. And so I'm just taking my knife. I pushed a little too hard there. Taking my knife and just working my way down the bone. I'll flip it around real quick. So now the meat is separated from the ribs. And on Thanksgiving when everybody's fighting over to breaking the wishbone, well, this is the wishbone. The wishbone's right under here. And essentially, it's the same as your collarbone. And so, again, we're just going to take the knife and work down. Removing the meat from the bone. And so here's the tricky part. Well, it's kind of tricky anyways. We don't want to cut the meat all the way off. You can see that the meat is still attached here. And we want to leave it like that for now. And what I'm going to do is pick the bird up. I'm going to move the camera here so you can hook your peepers in on this. So we have our bird here, just like so. And what I have in my hand is, so I'm holding the breast and the wing. So you can see I'm holding the breast and the wing here. I'm going to come in and I'm basically cutting. So this is not anatomically correct, but I'm just, for description's sake, for simplicity's sake, I'm going to cut into the armpit of the bird. Okay? So now there's a muscle that runs from here to here, and I just cut that. So now the wing can easily move like this. I'm going to pop it. So I just popped the wing out of its socket. And now I'm going to finish it off. So there's a little bit of a pop when I bent the wing up like this. That means it's out of the socket. Now it's only held in by connective tissue. And it's very easy, once I get the knife worked in there properly, to just come in and just like that, So now the meat is connected to the wing. And so this is legal for transport. So this is great for going across the border, especially. You do not want to cross the US-Canada border without your meat connected so it can be identified. Just like that. And you do the exact same thing on the other side. And I also really like the drummies. I really like to slow cook them, smoke them, make stews out of them. So I'm just going to show you how I do that. It's quick. It's the quickest way I've found. And so with the drummies, all I'm doing is the same technique of coercing the skin away from the meat. And so now that I've removed all the skin from the side of the leg like that, I go in, and so again, this is not anatomically correct, but just for simplicity's sake, I'm going to go to the kneecap, right? The joint right here that connects the thigh to the lower part of the leg, and I'm placing my pointer finger at the hip bone, so right where the leg connects to the hip. So this is the hip bone right here. I'm placing my pointer finger like that, and then I'm curling my thumb over top like this. And I'm gonna put down pressure with my thumb, so I'm putting pressure down, and I'm going to push up with my pointer finger. And as you can see, that popped out the socket very easily. So now that the leg is popped out of its socket, I'm going to take my knife and cut the meat away. And I'm just going to pop it out even further. And there we go. So now it's pulled away from the body. And I've left a little bit of feather on there, just like that. So I've left the leg on and the feather. And a way to get when you get home, the way to get the leg off very easily is I'm not going to do it now because I need to still transport it home, but all you have to do is slice this until you hit the bone. You don't have to push very hard. You don't have to go very deep down into the joint itself. And so once you've made a little bit of a slice, you then force the bone back like this. It'll pop out a socket. And then it's very easy once you've kind of worked your knife in properly, just to cut all the connective tissue in the skin. And then of course you remove the feathers and stuff like that. So that's how you do it. This is legal transport, so this can be identified in conjunction with the wing. And of course, as I was taking my time, it's kind of like when you're trying to explain how to tie your shoe, you go, I've just done this so much that it's kind of second nature to me. And so I'll just show you really quick how fast and easy it is. And just like that, boom, very easy. And just like that, boom. And when you're done, there really isn't much meat left on the bird. Honestly, even when I pluck them and roast them, I don't get a lot more meat off of the bird. What I really like roasting for is when the birds, like late season, when the birds have a lot of fat on them. Then I much prefer to pluck and roast any kind of waterfowl, whether it's duck or goose. But since it's early season, the birds haven't had a lot, like these snow geese, I suspect, because of the way that they were acting, especially that these guys were landing with sandhill cranes, I suspect that they were freshly from the tundra. I'm on the very northern edge of the prairies, so this would basically be the first time that these birds would be introduced to grain fields this fall. So after they've gone up to the Arctic, they've come back down, and usually during that time period that they're in the Arctic, they're putting on a little bit of fat. Like this bird does have a bit of fat on him, but they bulk up as soon as they hit the prairie. So once they get to the agricultural fields, once they can start to gorge themselves on different kinds of grains, that's when they really start to pack on the pounds. And the late season is phenomenal for roasting birds. I mean, if you do not render your own duck fat, do you even cook? Have you even ever enjoyed wild game? I mean, it is so good. So get out there, enjoy the season, stay safe, and shoot straight.